Welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. We're going to be focusing on LogicMark today. A company, I think you'd sent over some information about them, and it seemed pretty interesting. So we're going to try to really break down what's important right now. And to do that, we'll be looking at their financial health, their sort of overall business, and then also some recent happenings that might give us some signals as to what we might expect moving forward.
It seems like we have quite a bit of material to work with here, including like a detailed due diligence report as of this year, some recent news up to the beginning of April, and also just like a general company overview.
Yeah, you had mentioned that, you're looking to understand things pretty efficiently, but thoroughly, and that you appreciate a clear structure. So we're going to tackle it in three main areas. First, by going over their financials, then looking at the specifics of their business and how they fit in the industry, and then finally we'll cover any significant recent happenings that we should be aware of. So let's just jump right into it by looking at their financial snapshot. Now, I did notice that we didn't have the exact recent revenue growth number, but that would typically be found in their financial statements on something like macro trends if you were digging even deeper.
So looking at their financials, one thing that stands out is the story around earnings per share, or EPS. For Q3 2024, they reported an EPS of -$5, which was actually better than the expected -$10.75.
Oh, okay, so better than expected. That sounds encouraging, right?
It does on the surface, but then when we look at the projection for Q4 2024, there's a significant drop to -$29.50. This large swing really emphasizes the instability in their earnings.
Yeah, that definitely raises some questions. Now, with a negative EPS, like that, I guess the PE ratio, which is the price to earnings ratio, doesn't really tell us much, does it?
That's right. It's not particularly useful when a company isn't profitable. This isn't entirely uncommon for companies that are still investing a lot in growth or maybe in the middle of a turnaround.
Yeah.
Sometimes in these cases, analysts might look at something like the price to sales ratio to get an idea of value.
Okay. Now, one figure that did catch my eye was their debt to equity ratio, which is
Yeah.
listed as very low at 0.01.
Yeah, that's something to think about in the context of their overall financial situation. That low debt to equity ratio tells us they're not relying heavily on borrowing to fund their operations. So in one sense, this could be seen as a positive sign. They have fewer fixed obligations, but it also raises the question of how are they financing their activities, especially given their lack of profitability? Are they relying more on equity financing, or are they perhaps burning through cash reserves?
Right. That's a really interesting point. It definitely adds another layer to consider. Um, what about their free cash flow and their return on equity? We didn't have specific numbers for those in the material.
No, unfortunately, those figures weren't included. But we do see that their return on equity is also negative, which makes sense given the negative EPS. ROE is essentially a measure of how effectively a company is using investments to generate profit. So if earnings are negative, the ROE will follow suit.
Makes sense.
Free cash flow would give us an idea of the actual cash a company generates after accounting for capital expenditures, which, that's always an important metric to assess a company's underlying health.
Absolutely. So taking all this into account, what's the key financial takeaway for you right now?
I mean, it really seems to be a mixed bag. They did manage to beat EPS expectations in one quarter, which, that's positive. But that big projected loss in the next quarter makes you wonder how sustainable their performance really is. And while the low level of debt is a plus, the ongoing lack of profitability and that negative return on equity are definitely things to keep a close eye on.
For sure. Okay, so let's move away from just the numbers and talk about what LogicMark actually does. They seem to be in the business of helping people stay independent and safe, particularly seniors. And they do that through things like personal emergency response systems, also known as PRs.
Exactly. Their core business is all about those PRS devices, along with other health communication tools, and I guess you could say what falls under the umbrella of IoT or Internet of Things technology. We're talking wearable medical alert devices. And what's interesting is they've added some really sophisticated features like two-way voice communication, automatic fall detection, and even GPS tracking, which could be so valuable in emergencies.
Wow. Yeah, that GPS tracking would be really helpful, especially for, an older person who maybe wanders off or has a medical emergency and is disoriented.
Absolutely. That peace of mind is crucial.
So how are they getting these products out there? What's their approach to sales and distribution?
They're using a multi-channel approach, which I think is smart. One significant piece of that is they work directly with the Veterans Health Administration, and that's, a substantial potential market right there.
Oh, for sure.
And then they also work through a network of dealers and distributors to reach a wider audience. They also do some direct-to-consumer sales. Having that diversified approach can be really helpful for mitigating risk.
Yeah, it makes them less reliant on any one channel. So when we think about a market like this, what might give LogicMark a competitive advantage? What makes them stand out from the crowd?
Well, it's tough to say definitively because the information we have doesn't dive into those specifics. But generally, in the PRS industry, companies are looking for an edge through a couple of things. Technological innovation, for one.
Uh-huh.
Are they offering features that are more advanced or more reliable? And then there's cost effectiveness. Can they provide a similar level of service at a better price?
Right, and then there's also the power of their brand and how strong their distribution network is.
Exactly. All those factors play a role in how they position themselves.
Speaking of positioning, where do they stand in the market overall? Are they a major player, or are they more like a smaller company trying to carve out a niche?
It's difficult to say for sure without having data on their actual market share, but that significant decline in their stock price that we talked about earlier, it does suggest they've been facing some challenges in really establishing themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be due to intense competition or difficulties scaling your business, or maybe there are other factors impacting investor confidence. It's hard to pinpoint without more information.
Right. Now, zooming out a bit, let's think about the broader industry that they're in, the electronic equipment sector, and more specifically, the PRS market. What are some of the major trends influencing this space?
Well, the whole electronic equipment sector is just constantly evolving, right? There's this relentless pace of technological advancement. And then you've got things like global supply chain disruptions and ever-changing regulations all playing a role.
Yeah, it's a complex landscape.
It really is. And within the PRS market specifically, we're seeing a really clear move towards incorporating IoT technologies. We're even seeing some artificial intelligence being used to create devices that aren't just reactive in emergencies, but can also proactively monitor health and well-being, which is pretty amazing.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's also this increasing focus on aging in place and connected healthcare solutions. All of that's fueling growth in this sector.
So it sounds like you're saying the main takeaway here is that LogicMark is in a market that has a lot of potential for growth, driven by things like demographic trends and the need for connected care. But they are in a competitive space, and they need to keep innovating to stay ahead of the game. And their government contracts seem to be a real asset, a strong foundation for them.
That's a really good summary, yeah. Those government relationships can definitely provide some stability and a significant avenue for sales.
Absolutely. So let's move on to some recent developments that could impact the company. There were a few things that happened early in 2025 that are worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's interesting to see so much activity in such a short period of time. Back in February, on February 18th to be exact, they announced the pricing of a $14.4 million public offering. And then just last month in March, they held a special meeting with their stockholders. They were seeking approval for a reverse stock split and also to increase their authorized shares of stock.
A reverse stock split. Can you explain why a company would choose to do that?
Sure. You see, a lot of times a reverse stock split is done to try to boost the per share price of a company's stock. There are a few reasons why they might do this. For instance, it might be necessary to meet the minimum listing requirements of certain stock exchanges. If they don't meet those, they could risk being delisted.
Oh, I see.
And sometimes it's about making the stock look more attractive to certain institutional investors. Some of them have rules against investing in stocks that are priced too low. But it's important to remember that a reverse split doesn't actually change the fundamental value of the company. And some investors might see it as a sign that the company is in trouble.
That's a really important point. It's not a magic solution, just a way to manipulate the share price.
Precisely.
So it sounds like there's a potential downside there. But they also had some good news recently on the product side, right?
Yeah, just this month, actually. On April 1st, they announced they secured GSA approval for their Freedom Alert Max device. Now, this is significant because it means that U.S. government agencies, including the VA, can now easily purchase that product.
That sounds promising.
It really is a good sign for them. And on top of that, they launched the next generation of their Guardian Alert 911 Plus. That now has fall detection technology, and it operates on the 4G LTE network.
Okay, so it seems like they're actively trying to raise capital with the public offering and maybe make your stock more appealing with the reverse split. And at the same time, they're making moves to expand their government business and improve their products. These would generally be seen as positive steps, wouldn't they?
I'd say so. They definitely represent some potential upside. But we also have to acknowledge this big elephant in the room, their stock price. It's taken a pretty dramatic and frankly concerning dive.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore that.
I mean, over the past year, it's down a whopping 99.94%, and it actually hit a low of just 17 cents per share. Now, more recently, it's been trading around 2 cents, which is still down almost 99% since the start of the year.
Wow. I mean, a drop like that has to be telling us something, doesn't it?
Right.
What could be driving such a steep decline?
A decline of that magnitude usually points to some pretty serious concerns among investors. It could be a combination of factors, their ongoing lack of profitability, maybe doubts about their ability to compete effectively, or even worries about their long-term financial viability. It really suggests that investor confidence has eroded significantly.
It's a strong signal, for sure. Now, we didn't have a lot of recent data about how much their stock is actually being traded or what analysts are saying about them right now.
That's true. It looks like there's limited recent information on trading volume and analyst sentiment. But the overall feeling seems to be one of caution, which, makes sense given the financial challenges and all the market headwinds we've been discussing.
Right, right. So just to sum up the impact of these recent events, it seems that LogicMark is taking steps to get more funding and grow their government side of the business, but there's a huge amount of concern reflected in their stock price.
Yeah, those positive developments have to be weighed against that really significant market devaluation. It's
Yeah.
a complex picture.
Okay, so let's try to get a clearer picture by focusing on some of their key strengths and weaknesses based on what we've seen.
Well, on the strength side, we see that their products are using some pretty innovative technologies. They've got AI features, which could give them an edge. And that solid relationship with the U.S. government, that GSA contract, that's definitely a major asset for them.
Yeah, it's a pretty reliable customer base.
Oh, no.
Now, what about the other side of the coin? What are some of the big red flags or weaknesses that stand out to you?
Well, the most obvious one is their ongoing net losses. Like we said, they haven't shown that they can consistently turn a profit. And on top of that, that huge drop in their stock price is a very clear sign that investors are skeptical. There's a real lack of confidence in their current path.
The detailed financial information you shared kind of fleshes that out a bit more, doesn't it?
It does. We saw that in a recent period, they brought in $2.71 million in revenue and had a pretty strong gross profit margin of 67%. But even with that, they still ended up with a net loss of $1.6 million. And their adjusted EBITDA loss was $0.8 million.
So even though they're generating revenue and making a decent profit on the products themselves, their operating expenses are still eating up all that income.
That's the key distinction here. A healthy gross margin is good. It means their core business is working, but they really need to figure out how to translate that into overall profitability.
Absolutely. So the main takeaway here, in terms of strengths and weaknesses, is that while LogicMark has some promising things going for them, especially with their technology and those government connections, their financial performance is a big hurdle. And they need to overcome that to get investors back on board.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's a really accurate assessment of where things stand.
So let's look ahead now. What are some things that could happen that would have a positive impact on LogicMark's performance?
Well, if they can successfully launch their new products, like that upgraded Guardian Alert 911 Plus, and get people using them, that would be a big boost. And of course, any positive surprises in their upcoming earnings reports, anything that shows they're making progress towards profitability, that would be huge. And then there's the capital they raised through that recent public offering. How effectively they use that money will be crucial.
So strategic investments in growth initiatives and really anything that strengthens their financial position.
Exactly.
And on the flip side, what are some of the main risks they face moving forward?
Well, the healthcare industry is always dealing with changes in regulations, so that's something to watch. Any new rules could impact demand for PR's devices or impose new requirements they need to meet.
So regulatory hurdles are always a possibility.
Yeah, and then there's the general economic climate. If we go into a downturn, consumers might become more price sensitive and cut back on spending, and that could hurt their sales.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned competitors earlier. Who are some of the key players they're up against in this market?
The material we have mentions companies like Medical Guardian and Bay Alarm Medical. They're both established players in the PRS industry.
So LogicMark needs to find ways to stand out from those guys.
Exactly. As we were talking about before, that means constant innovation and maybe forming strategic partnerships. Those will be really important for them to differentiate themselves and grab market share.
Okay. So last question. Based on what we have, what's the general sentiment from analysts about LogicMark's future prospects?
From the looks of it, there isn't much recent analyst coverage, and there's no consensus rating at the moment.
Yeah.
Which, that lack of activity might be a sign that analysts are unsure about what to expect from them in the near term. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding their future outlook.
So the big things to watch are their upcoming earnings reports, how well their new products do, and whether they can make the most of those government contracts. And we also have to keep an eye on things outside their control, like changes in regulations and the overall economy.
Absolutely. Those are all key factors that will help paint a clearer picture of their trajectory.
So to sum it all up, LogicMark is in a potentially interesting space with their medical alert technology. And that recent GSA approval is definitely a good win for them. It could open up some valuable new revenue streams. But their financial situation, especially those ongoing losses and that massive drop in stock price, those are major things to consider.
The information you put together really shows us a company that's got some potential, especially with their technology and their government connections. But they're also facing some pretty strong headwinds and some serious financial challenges. It really highlights how important it is to look at a company from different angles. Don't just focus on the exciting product news. You have to also take a hard look at their financial health and what the market is saying about them.
I think that's a really valuable point. It's all about getting the full picture. Now, we hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of LogicMark based on the information we had. Certainly more you could explore if you wanted to go even deeper. Looking into their full financial statements would be a good next step. And keep an eye on how those new initiatives are progressing.
What are your thoughts? What stood out to you the most from all of this? What questions do you still have about them? Keep exploring this company, keep learning.
Absolutely. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and you want to hear more company analyses, make sure to subscribe, like this episode, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, what questions you have. Your feedback helps us create content that you'll find valuable. Thanks for listening to Investing Talk Podcast.